Do you know this one?
What?
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dun 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 dun.
Vanilla ice, baby. Yeah, I know that one.
Almost.
Oh.
That's it.
Yeah, it is it, right?
Ice Baby.
Yeah, he
Stop.
sings in Mansfield sometimes.
Collaborate and listen.
Right.
Ice is back with a brand new invention.
Yeah, I know that.
Something has grabbed a hold of me tightly.
Of course.
It flows like a harpoon daily and nightly.
Yeah, I don't know all of it.
Will it ever stop? Yo.
I just know vanilla
I don't know.
Ice, baby.
Turn off the lights and I glow. To the extreme, I rock this mic like a vandal, light up the stage and watch it chump like a candle.
Okay.
Dance. Watch the speakers that boom. This Villain Ice, you got to get saved. Because then he says, killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom. But dun 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 dun
Right.
isn't originally Vanilla Ice. It's Queen.
Okay.
No, it is Vanilla Ice, but Queen had a song called Under Pressure.
Yeah, I remember it.
Under pressure, got a hold of me. It's hard. The tug of more.
There's a lot of pressure with the tug of more.
There's a lot of pressure.
You're right.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, y'all.
Y'all good?
Hope so.
Man, thanks for joining and being part of a conversation
That's
between
right.
two friends.
Two friends who one knows all the lyrics and one
No,
doesn't
I don't know them. I only know very few lyrics to a couple inappropriate 90s and late 80s rap songs.
Yeah.
And like, I know them really well.
I mean, yeah, you know a lot.
But whenever I meet like a real rap connoisseur, I quickly get out of my depth.
No.
So if you're new to joining us, man, glad that you're here hanging out. My name's Truston.
Yep. My name is Whitney.
And we're friends.
That's
and
right.
we work in ministry together. Not married.
Nope. We are married, but not to each other.
This is a good delineation. Back off me, ladies. I am married to Rachel.
That's right. I'm married to Aaron.
Hey, every once in a while.
Yes, yeah, it's true. You gotta let them know.
And
you wear two rings so that if there's ever a question,
just in case there's a question, both fingers taken. And so we just get together and we talk about some issues in life and in ministry and in business and really in this tug that we feel internally towards accomplishing more that God has for us.
The tension of where we currently are and knowing that we want to be over here, but we're right here right now. And there's a tug in order to get there. And like, it's easy to fall under the pressure and want to quit. But in life, in ministry, in whatever we're doing, we're going to keep pushing for more.
And so I couldn't sleep the other night because...
It happens to you?
Yeah, sometimes I can't sleep. I know the Bible says God gives rest to those he loves. And I'm like, God, I know you love me. Why can't I sleep right now?
He's like, because you won't stop worrying about the things I'm already working on.
Because you won't manage the pressure correctly. And so I was not able to sleep because I was like, and I kind of was sleeping, but I was having dreams of like being in meetings and things that I needed to be doing.
Right.
But I was trying to sleep, but my brain was dreaming about doing things. That's part of the challenge of the tug of more. And so I woke up the next day and I heard that Queen song that we just joked about, Under Pressure.
Yeah.
And man, I realized like in this season, I feel like this immense load of pressure.
Absolutely. I think that anybody who's leading anything or charging into more or doing anything of any value in this last year and a half has felt some intense pressure because we've been in a season we've never even ever experienced before.
Yeah, and new pressure.
Yeah, and so there's already the pressure of what we're doing added to a whole world of chaos that's been added, and so there's a lot of pressure lately.
Yeah, the last year, the shutdown, the financial stress, the racial tensions,
and
the political debate, it's exacerbated.
Right.
Like we were, there was already pressure before.
Absolutely.
When we were in 2019, there was some pressure.
Oh, absolutely.
But then like, good golly, Miss Molly, the pressure now.
Well, and I think for a lot of us in that time, it's actually right now catching up to us. It's like we grit and bore it.
I can do
it. And now we're like, whoa, it's all like hitting like a tidal wave. I feel like a lot of people I'm talking to lately are feeling the pressure of the last 18 months hit them right now.
All over the place.
Everywhere.
It's not just pastors or business owners. But
parents, teachers,
people
trying to buy a house, build a house,
married,
right? All kinds.
We're doing VBS right now at Living Church, and we just walked through, and our team, it's day 3 of a 1 week VBS,
Vacation Bible School.
Vacation
for kids.
Bible School. So we've got 200 kids that come and learn about Jesus and play games and stuff. And they said that today, day 3, kids were acting extra crazy.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because they're tired, so they're not running as much, but their attitudes start to come out.
Oh yeah.
Guess what? it doesn't change when you become a real adult.
It doesn't.
That tiredness and weight and same thing after day after day. Man, it starts to get heavy.
Yeah.
And that pressure is real.
It's real. And you have to address it and deal with it, or you will start to cave under. You will start to lose sleep at night.
Yeah.
You will start acting crazy to your family and the people you love. You will start to feel like you can't do it anymore. And I think that's important that we talk about it and evaluate it. And
let's shoot out some machine gun things that put pressure on us.
Okay.
Like for me, feeling like I'm supposed to be somewhere that I'm not at.
Yeah.
Like the expectation of I should have already arrived here, but I'm not yet accomplishing this or doing this.
Right.
That puts some pressure on me.
Absolutely. I think leading other people that you feel responsible for their future and their journey of life, that you feel like, man, as a leader in an organization, employer, with employees, as parents, with kids, like there's this like, man, we're responsible for them too. And that's a heavy pressure.
I think the pressure of, I don't know how to do this.
Oh yeah. That's constant pressure.
Like, I went to Bible college, but like they didn't teach me how to do 99% of the things I'm doing on a daily basis.
No.
And I just don't know what to do.
Yeah. Who left us in charge? Like,
we're
like, in the adults show up.
Yeah.
That's what we used to say. Because it's like, there's this pressure of, when you do step into more, the more you step into more, the more you don't know how to do it because you've never done it before.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge one. I think the pressure of, life is not like it used to be, and now it looks different. That phrase I hated forever, which was the new normal.
Yeah, Pastor Whitney would get so mad.
I didn't want to accept it.
You'd get really mad.
I know.
Don't say it.
I don't.
This is not the new normal.
No.
Thank God it's not the new normal.
No.
Like what was kind of
the normal for a minute is not the new normal. But there is a new normal, and I'm having to admit it. And I hate it. But it's a pressure to adjust.
Yeah, it's pressure to adjust. Another pressure is the pressure of success.
Oh man, yeah.
Which is weird because you would think that if you're winning all the time, like man, you're winning. You're putting points on the board that you should just be happy all the time. But really, when things are growing, that's hard because again, you're facing new challenges that you don't know how to deal with. Like as Living Church has grown and added more service and bigger spaces and our reach has expanded. There's some days I wish that it was back to being simple.
Right.
You remember like when Rachel and I first got married?
You're going to say this.
When Rachel and I first got married, we lived in the tiniest house.
Yep.
Tiniest house. Our mortgage was $700 a month.
Right.
And like it was easy to clean.
Yep.
And like I mowed the lawn in like 15 minutes.
Right. I remember.
And it was so simple. Now we've got we don't have like a great big house, but we have a little space in the back where Rachel's mom lives, and we got a pool and like a playground, and it's just so much work.
Right. No, the more that you have, the more you have to maintain. There's a lot of pressure.
I think that it says more money,
more problems.
More problems. And more success, more problems.
Absolutely.
It just makes pressure.
There's pressure. I think there's pressure in any relationships you have. Like for us, like we're friends, and the dynamic of what we have, there's always pressure to maintain our relationship with our spouses, like with our friendships, with our kids, with our people that in this last year, we're not going and hanging out with people the way we used to.
For sure.
But how do you maintain the relationships the way you used to? That's hard. Like there's so much.
There's tons of reasons that there's pressure.
Absolutely.
Pressure from our kids.
Right.
Like when you're in family, it's not only that you're navigating your pressure, but you're navigating the pressures of those that you love.
Absolutely.
Did your kids have a good school year? Like, are they happy? Are they fulfilled? Does your husband or wife still have a job? Like, everybody you're connected to, there's pressure. And if you're a fixer, and if you're watching this podcast, you're probably like a highly driven, motivated person.
Absolutely.
And so with that, you're motivated to help everybody else.
Yeah.
And so now you're taking everybody else's problems and pressures and you're stacking them on, and then you start to break down.
Yeah, you're crushed.
And that's a little bit how I've been feeling from the pressure.
Me too. So it's okay. You're not alone. Like, I think that's the thing is that anybody, what you just said, anybody who is driven and is pushing into more, there's going to be a pressure and a weight. And eventually that's going to happen to you one way or another.
But I've been here before.
Yeah. Right.
So like this pressure that I'm feeling,
it's not
new.
Right.
I've been under the burden multiple times
Right.
and navigated my way out of it.
Yeah.
And so once I feel it, I'm just like, okay, let's just remember what I did last time.
Let's recalibrate.
And so maybe you've under a new pressure you've never been under, or maybe you haven't handled it well ever in the past and you don't like
true.
change, you don't like the adjustment. And so we're going to talk about how to handle it. I remember in high school, I was in, what is the class called? What's the class called where you like make a car out of a mousetrap and you build a bridge out of physics?
Oh.
So I was in physics in high school, and one of the things that you had to do was build a bridge out of toothpicks.
Yep.
And it was a lot of fun. I like those kind of hands-on projects. And so you would build your little bridge out of toothpicks, and then they would hang a weight from it, and you would see whose bridge could hold the most weight.
Yeah.
And I realized that, man, if the pressure wasn't applied correctly, your bridge would snap.
If it wasn't evenly balanced, if it wasn't straight,
there's a lot of pieces that it's important. And it's the same thing in our life, that
Absolutely.
that as the pressure comes and we hear the toothpicks cracking, what do we do?
Wow.
And so I've got a couple thoughts that, like, first, if everything starts to break and there's pressure you can't handle, maybe we should lessen the weight.
Yeah.
So like something you and I talk about is, okay, what can we start stopping?
Right. No, we're really good at starting things because we get real excited and we want to reach all the people and have more for everyone. And so, there's been times in our relationship and our working relationship, we had to say, okay, we're going to stop starting things and kill some things.
We've literally told our staff, we're going to go 6 months and not start anything new.
Yeah.
We're not going to add nothing.
Right.
I'm not allowed to be creative. I'm not going to have some harebrained idea and start a new ministry.
Right.
We're going to stop starting. And I think sometimes we just have to lessen the pressure.
Absolutely.
And so, like, what is it? I already know where you're going to go.
Yeah.
But what is it that should be cut out? Like, you've got to examine your life just like you would a budget.
Right.
You like see how much you're spending on the mortgage and on going out to eat and on the car and on the cell phone and on 18 streaming services, and like, okay, which one of these things should I cut so I have more money?
Right.
It's the same thing with our energy and our
Absolutely.
mental focus and our time.
Yeah. And so I think it's important that we realign like our priorities first. Like we have to pay attention. You as the leader of our church cannot decide that one of the pressures you're going to take off is preaching on Sundays.
Correct. This is a non-negotiable.
This is a pressure that is a priority of your life because of the role and the job that you have, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
except there are some things that I'm teaching that are way more intensive study and pressure on me. So we did a series on the end times.
Yeah, that was super heavy pressure.
Super heavy pressure. Right now, we're teaching through the fruit of the Spirit, which I have known since I was a kid.
Right.
And so I've got a lot of frame of reference, and so it's not the same pressure. But still, I can't take that one off.
No. Now, we can make adjustments. So you're going to take some weeks off in the summer because you're going to go on vacation as you should and hang with your family.
Because I'm not a robot.
Correct.
Not a robot.
You're
not
human.
a sermon robot.
Right. But it is a responsibility that has to be managed. It can't be taken off the list.
Yeah, but there are some things
absolutely
we can take off.
There's some pressures that we put on ourselves. I am horrible at this, that I like to say yes. I am a helper by nature. And so there are people and there are circumstances, there are situations. If people 5 years ago, Whitney said yes to anything people asked her to do.
And it was breaking your bridge.
It was way too much pressure. And I've really had to evaluate what are my best yeses in life, because otherwise, I couldn't do anything well. If you are doing too many things, you can't do anything right. And so we have to look at them and go, okay, some of those are unhealthy. So we get in cycles in life of things that are just unhealthy, whether it's from insecurity, other voices, other things that we like are trying to fix and solve, and that's a pressure that we don't need. And then there's other ones that are just not helpful in this season that we can put on the back burner. Like for you, your kids are in a younger season. For me, my kids are in an older season. And so as parents, the decisions we make about certain things, they're different now.
Very different,
just because of where our kids are at in life. And so we can't look at someone else's list of pressure and like make it the same. We have to evaluate our own priority.
Yeah. And so what are the areas in your life that you need to lessen, that you need to work on?
Change.
But we got to be really careful with that.
Yeah.
So we've talked about like our health journey.
Absolutely.
For a while. And about how both of us got kind of out of focus and we had put some weight on and just eaten bad because we put our physical health on the back burner to all these other things.
Yep.
And so let's not just prioritize our organizations that we're leading.
No, it's super important.
Let's prioritize us and our families and our relationship with God.
Right.
And like, we're even at Living Church having this recalibration of like the Holy Spirit and like all of these things. And so what are the unhealthy pressures that we need to be lessening the weight of? Because, you know, sometimes people, this is what I thought you were going to talk about earlier. Sometimes people they'll like send an email, you know, we have a lot going on in life. And so I'm going to stop being on the greeter team.
Right.
I'm going to stop serving in Living Kit. I'm going to stop my church involvement.
Right.
Wait a minute. I'm not sure that that's the thing that we should pull away from.
No,
there's probably some other things we should pull away from.
Because some of our pressures feed us too. And so we have to evaluate what drains us and what feeds us in the level of pressures. And so like for me, we've talked about it before that like in this crazy season in the last year, I realized again, I forgot for a long season because I was really working hard, but I forgot that like, oh, my family does feed me. Being with my family, spending time together, it does. And so I need to prioritize that again in my life.
Yeah.
Being in relationship with godly people. We didn't have life groups because of all the things.
Right.
Being in relationship with godly people, it feeds my spirit.
Yeah.
I need to be intentional to have that again. You know, there's things that feed us, but they are pressures, but they're helpful. They add to the bank instead of deplete the bank or whatever. And so, no, it makes me sad when we get our priorities out of whack and we think, oh, I don't know. I don't want to speak anything over somebody else's priority, but we think we're not in balance. You just talked about the bridge and I just keep thinking about like, if they would have hung the weight, they hung the weight right in the middle of the bridge. Yeah. But if they would have hung it on one side or another side, it would have been out of balance and it would have crashed.
Which is kind of the next thing is that sometimes to navigate the pressure is giving it proper placement.
Proper placement is good.
Proper placement. Because, okay, you talked about me writing sermons.
Yeah.
Should that be the most important part of my whole life?
Absolutely not.
Right.
I mean, absolutely not.
But
it's important.
But I, for a lot of times, have made it dead center of my life.
Right.
This is the most important thing. And because I had the placement of the pressure wrong, I started cracking.
Absolutely.
And so, yes, if we're in a specific series that is like we call them an anchor series for the church, then yes, that's kind of like big priority.
Yeah.
Other things need to bend in my life to that. But my relationship with my wife should not get shoved over into the corner because I have to be doing these things.
Right.
And so like, it's not only what are we allowing to be on the bridge, but where is it seated?
Yeah. Something my counselor said to me in this last season of life that was super helpful. He said, Whitney, you can only have unhealthy boundaries for so long. He said there's seasons and there's moments that you either, because of especially the job that we do, that we deal with, circumstances, people who phone calls in the middle of the day, at night, whatever, that distract. Yeah. And those boundaries sometimes have to bend and mold, but it's temporary. It can't be permanent. And what happens to us often is we get in the cycle. Yeah. And so like biblically, God is our first, like our relationship with God is first. Our spouse is supposed to be second. Our kids are supposed to be third. And our jobs and whatever else are the after.
Calling. Right.
And I think for us as church leaders, that gets hard because the God and the one and the four blend.
Well, we start to get messed up and think that our relationship with God is based upon our performance.
Correct.
But are we employees or sons?
Right. Right.
Are we employees or daughters?
Right.
And when we can start to, but that's a very hard line. I still have a hard time drawing that line.
Sure.
But yeah, it gets the water gets muddied.
Because like when you look at it like that, like my son Easton, like there's work that he needs to do in our house, but he's also allowed to sit on the couch and watch TV. Like there's a balance between working hard, but also finding rest, finding enjoyment. And so I think it's a struggle, but it's important that if we align our priorities, that helps us put the right placement, then that second step of putting the right placement of the pressure. Because if Jim Smith from high school is calling me every day and needs help from something, where do you align on the priority?
Right.
I'm allowing too much pressure in my life, and you're like 12th on the list.
So good.
And so it's important that we pay attention.
And so sometimes it's not just that something needs to get kicked off.
No.
It's not just the lessening of the weight so the bridge breaks and throw it away. It just means pull it out of center. Put it way over the edge. It's still on the bridge. It's still on there.
Yeah.
It's just not stealing your piece.
Right. It's the proper placement is what you're saying.
Proper placement.
Because the other part that you and I struggle with is like we want to be 150%. Like
100% is for losers.
Yes.
is really internally
feel.
how it feels. Like if we're not growing, we're dying.
Right.
So
and
grow.
so like we have to keep going. And so that's why we try to be robots when we're not robots. But we only have 100%.
Yeah.
I only have 100% of my time.
Yeah.
I wish I had more, but
Yeah.
I only do.
I always say I wish there were more than 7 days in a week.
Yeah.
I probably say it every other week.
I was going to say, you say it all the time. But like I've had to actually, that's something my counselor made me do, write out the percentages that things can have in my week and in my life because I am out of balance in the percentages I give.
What about the placement of the pressure of others' opinions?
Ooh, now that.
Because I think that this could be a whole other episode.
Correct.
But like sometimes other people's thoughts or feelings or situations, they like sneak their way into the very center. And now things weigh more than they actually do.
Yeah.
Like
Okay, right.
if VBS, we're doing
Yeah.
VBS. If I started viewing VBS as I was in competition with what other churches' VBSs were doing,
right.
there would now be this new pressure from VBS,
Yeah.
but it's not even real.
No, it's unhealthy.
And that's true. We all do it.
everywhere.
We all do it.
All the time. And we have to look at it because that's an unhealthy pressure that we put on ourselves.
Yeah.
We think it comes from those people, but it doesn't.
No.
We did it to ourselves.
We're allowing their voice in our ear when they probably didn't even say it.
Correct. They're not even words they might have even said.
They might not even be watching.
No, right.
And chances are their Instagram is a lie anyways.
Yeah.
You know my favorite thing about churches is that we all have that photo on our website
From Easter.
from the back of the room when it's full and everyone's hands are up.
Yep.
And it's always Easter Sunday.
Yep. Or literally when the pastor said, everyone lift your hands now. And we're like, how do they get them to worship like that? Oh, it's because the pastor just told them to.
I was watching, I'm not going to call him out, but I was watching a
don't do that.
mentor pastor. He's like I've never met. Oh, I did meet him. He's nationally known. So now you know who he
Yeah.
is. And so I'm watching his message and it's good. And then it goes to this zoom out shot and they have like a balcony and a camera on like a stick.
Yeah.
And the room is so full, but they have the giant screens.
Yep.
And so I look, and on the screens, he's wearing a black suit. And then it comes back to him preaching, and he's wearing a green shirt. And I'm like, they've literally cut in B-roll into their service. It's not even from the same service.
No. Bailey, Easton, new job. This is what you have to do.
That's what we now have to do. We have to install B-roll from other services so it looks
Maybe
packed.
we could even do it from another church. Like we'll just do it from their building.
Let's do it from the Cowboys game.
There we go.
But no, but this is what we do, man.
Yeah.
This pastor, somebody, I mean, maybe he didn't do it. Maybe it's somebody on his team.
Yeah.
But somebody said, hey, attendance is down this week.
Right.
We don't want it to look down.
No.
So let's go back and cut
this
footage.
in.
These are the silly things that we do when we allow other people's opinions to weigh too heavy. It starts to crack us.
Yep.
Our bridges break. Things start falling apart because we care too much about their opinions.
And we're talking about it in church leadership, but it's everywhere it can be everywhere in our life. It can be the car we drive, how much we weigh, what clothes we wear. It can be keeping up with the Joneses is like a phrase that's what it means, is a pressure to keep up with the people that you're living next door to. But the Joneses didn't ask me to do that. I have put that on myself.
You know, the worst Jones is the one in your own head.
Yeah.
For me.
No, for me too.
I don't think I'm in competition with a lot of other people. I don't get caught up a whole lot in comparison.
Right.
But I do in me.
Yeah.
I do in the I close my eyes and I feel like God's showed me what I'm called to do and supposed to be accomplishing.
Right.
And then when I look at that compared to where I am, I'm like, I'm a loser.
Right.
I'm such a loser. I'm not even close.
No.
But that's an unhealthy pressure.
It's super unhealthy, but it's something we do. And like
Yeah.
you and I, we've worked together long enough that it's even something we've asked each other before in seasons is like, hey, what voice is this? Where's it coming from?
sure.
Who is it? Just because sometimes it's hard to know that you've put the improper placement somewhere.
Yeah.
You've gotten so comfortable in where you are that we just get, stuck in the same routine, and we look at it and go, oh no, I've got the proper placement.
Yeah.
But having people around you and just reevaluating from time to time helps us. You said we're recalibrating some things
Yeah.
here. We are, because we needed to.
Yeah.
Because we thought we were doing it good. And then we looked and went, oh, I feel that cracking. Something must be out of alignment.
So good.
Super good.
So the pressure's on.
Yep.
We feel our life cracking, our relationships cracking,
Right.
the bridge is bending.
Yep.
Well, first we can lessen some weight.
Yep.
We can remove some of the things that we're carrying.
Right.
Then we can have proper placement.
Mm-hmm.
But the third thing is we can install some intentional infrastructure.
Yeah.
So like if your bridge is breaking,
It's good.
you need some new piers and
Yep.
some new beams and some new angle supports and some
Yeah.
new welding. It needs some new infrastructure.
Yep.
That's called leadership.
Yeah.
And so like sometimes when the pressure's on, it doesn't mean I need to eject or I'm weak or I can't carry this. It
Right.
means I need to close the bridge and build for a little bit.
Yeah, I need to take a minute and pull back, and then actually to figure out where I can change, shift, grow, whatever that is. Man, it's really good, and I have so many thoughts.
No, so let's just bat it around.
Yeah.
So we want to add infrastructure.
Yeah.
There's a million directions we could go. We
Right.
could go, you want to go schedule?
Well, yeah. I mean, because I keep thinking of a phrase that you used years ago. Leadership is just metership. So there's
Yeah.
like this whole like me situation,
Yeah.
and then it might be the structure and the organization that you're in.
Yeah.
So I think we start with us.
Leading me.
First.
How am I leading me?
Yeah.
So like the way that I am most effective in staff meeting on Tuesdays at 3:00 is by getting out of bed on time.
Yeah. Right.
But the best way I get out of bed on time at 6 a.m. is by going to bed
On time. Yeah.
And so like
Right.
that's me leading me.
Right.
And we can run around and try to fix the fruit and not deal with the root
yeah.
of what's fallen apart in our life.
No, it's true. And then I think the pressures of like being willing to ask yourself, why can't I say no? Like that's one of the things we have to lead ourselves through and
Yeah.
go, like for me, I had to say like, oh, what am I afraid of? If I say no, what? That they'll be mad, that they'll be hurt, that they'll like, I do have to remove this from my plate in this season. Why do I not want to? And I think there's 1,000 questions we have to ask ourselves. So first you said schedule. I think that's a great one of recognizing there is only 7 days in a week, sadly.
There are only 24 hours and we need to sleep and we need to see our family
Right.
and we need to take care of our health
Yep.
and all the things. And so prioritizing what we're doing
Right. There was a season when you and I would not stop working
ever.
at all. And
Like
unhealthy,
unhealthily.
ridiculous, wouldn't leave here, the church building till 6:30, go home, be on our laptops, do the things,
Yeah.
texting each other,
Yeah.
like late at night. And we had to go, whoa, we're not leading ourselves
And
well.
so we've had to lessen some of the weight.
Yep.
We've had to reposition priority. And then we've also had to increase infrastructure.
Yeah, we had to hire some staff that could actually.
Or some better staff.
I know I said better. It was Freudian slip, but it was true.
But it's
we
just
had to hire
changes have to be made.
It's true.
Because sometimes you have to pull out an I-beam in the bridge to put a new I-beam in the bridge.
It's true. And you have to put in a stronger one, and
Yeah.
you know all about materials, but
Yeah.
heavier materials and machinery. And so we had to hire staff that could actually carry the weight with us.
Yeah.
People that could actually run with us so that we could hand over certain events that we loved. Like there was an event that you carried for years.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had to hand it off to two other people one year because we just couldn't do it anymore.
And they nailed it.
They did a great job.
Yeah.
And grew it even since then because we were able to let it go.
And we gave it away. And then I was able to focus on what I needed to focus
Right.
on. And they were able to focus what they needed to focus on. And guess what? That's infrastructure.
Absolutely.
That's structure in the organization. So I'm doing what I need to do. They're doing what they're
Right.
needing to do.
Right.
And we can handle more pressure.
Absolutely.
But if you just keep doing everything yourself, you can't handle anymore.
No, and you might not have, like, somebody listening might not have a staff. They might not have employees, but you have a life with maybe a family. Like for me, working as a full-time mom versus being a mom that worked part-time outside the home, I had to shift some stuff in my house.
Yeah.
Like my kids had to help do some laundry. We had to all reevaluate our chores and those type of things. No matter where you are in life, you can add infrastructure. Add infrastructure to some things.
Yeah.
Because you can't do it all yourself.
That's really good. And adding infrastructure can be in our time management.
Yep.
It can be in our staffing.
Right.
And the people that were around us.
Yep.
What you said was really great, that you might not have a staff, but you do have people that you're working with.
Right.
Are they if you're a pastor, are they volunteers? Like, who's carrying what load?
Right.
You know, when they're putting a bridge up, or I've got a roll cage in my Jeep, you have to make sure that each piece is carrying the right amount of pressure and accurate weights. And so do you have 5,000 pounds on this thing and only 300 pounds on this thing?
No, it's true.
Maybe we need to take some pressure from here and put it over here to free up this person. We just had this conversation with our staff.
No, absolutely.
With COVID and shut down and all the things, we've been putting all of this major pressure on our production, media creative team, and realized that we haven't reviewed what's happening in some other major departments in a while.
Right. Because for a season, that was the only department that could function.
Right.
And so because you get kind of used to some stuff and the season looks the same for a while, it just stayed that way.
And so we've got all this pressure over here and not maybe enough over here.
Yeah.
And so the bridge starts to crack.
Everywhere.
And it's not because anybody's weak.
No.
It's because we've placed the weights in the wrong spot.
Yeah. And so we are having to recalibrate some of that infrastructure. And I think it's important to understand that that can happen in all kinds of places in our life, and to then go, okay, what else needs to be added? So I changed my schedule. I've changed the weight for some people around me and maybe for myself, but then maybe I need to change. Oh man. I mean, we've already talked about, you and I, our diet and our exercise. That's a huge piece.
Oh yeah. Cause if you're eating garbage and not going to sleep and watching scary movies at 3 a.m., you're not going to have any peace.
No.
And so like, you're not going to be okay.
No. And you're not going to get the junk done in the right placement of when you need to get it done. So you're going to feel more pressure.
Right.
But then go.
So the bridge that we're talking about is actually us. And so that means if we're under pressure, that means our emotional health.
Absolutely.
Our emotional capacity. We've already done a podcast on emotional health. And if you missed it, go back and listen to that junk.
Well, I was going to say, people who are watching or, who are follow along with us are probably like, y'all talk about that a lot.
Well, because
it's everything.
It's the key, man.
No, it is.
If I start emotionally losing it because of the pressure, we can't grow.
Right.
No more cars can drive across the bridge if Truston's breaking down emotionally.
No, and our emotions are just an indicator of what's happening.
We're the lid.
Like fear, anger, these are the emotions, sadness, like all those things. They're the indicator of what's going on around us, and we have to then not let them be in control. We have to then be in control, and that's why it's so important.
So on my little toothpick bridge,
when
you'd put the weight on, you would hear the toothpick start to crack.
Yeah.
On big, like modern day bridges, they go and paint them, and they go and look in the areas where the metal connects, and they see if the paint is cracked.
Yeah.
There's indicators.
Yeah.
And so what are some emotional indicators that we are under too much pressure?
Oh man. I just said a few of I think if you are finding yourself in a way that you're not normally, your non-normal personality bend. So
that's smart.
For me, I am a positive, joyful, excited person most of the time. And I don't like to live in heavy, sad places. But there's been seasons that as pressure's cracking, I'm not the same.
Right.
I'm not okay. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I'm easily irritated. I feel overwhelmed. I get sad easy, like all these and I don't like the way I feel maybe anymore.
Yeah. For me, I'm a visionary.
Yeah.
And so I always have big ideas and believe that anything's possible.
Right.
But when the pressure starts to get really heavy, I lose that.
Yeah.
I stop dreaming. I stop thinking about what it could be, and I get trapped in, bleh, it's only ever going to be
And
what
what's
it is.
wrong around you.
What's wrong around me. I turn into a critic instead of a celebrator pusher.
Yeah.
And so
No, it's true.
in all of us, we have the Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Right.
That the words that come out of your mouth are the dashboard of your life.
It's true.
Like in your car, you have RPM gauge and overheating, battery load, and all these things. And if something's broken under the hood, it's going to show up on the dash. And if something's broken in your life, it's going to show up in your mouth.
It's true.
Be rude to your wife, rude to your kids, rude to your husband. You're going to just shut up and stop talking and be all
shut down.
These are all emotional indicators
They are.
that the pressure is too much.
Yep.
And so something has to be fixed.
It has to be changed or adjusted.
So you got to talk to somebody.
It's true. I mean, we talk about counseling a lot, which we're huge proponents of. Maybe it's friendships in your life. Maybe it's your spouse. Maybe it's a parent, somebody that you're close to that knows you well. I think that's the other thing that you and I have found, that sometimes in moments and in seasons, or just certain personality types, we're not always even aware of the fact that we're feeling the way we're feeling in the moment. But somebody we are close to can say, hey, you good? Hey, something feels off today. Are you all right? And it takes sometimes someone else to pull us out of, because the pressure is, we're holding the pressure. We can't really see anything else sometimes.
You know, the saddest thing though, is that we want to pretend like our bridge isn't breaking.
Right.
And that's a tragedy, because what happens is people say, I'm fine. The pressure's not there until all of a sudden it breaks and their whole life is down in a ravine getting washed away by the river.
Oh man, it's true. It's true.
And I see it. No, our marriage is fine.
Yeah.
No, our business is fine. No, our kids, they're good. And then like you look up and they're divorced or their business shut down or their kids hate their guts.
Right.
And I'm like, man, if you would have just admitted 3 years ago that you weren't fine, you wouldn't have broken apart.
Yeah. No.
And it's why we have to have people that we're engaging and talking to.
Yeah. It's so much easier to change the infrastructure, the one piece, the one screw, the one whatever that's breaking, than it is to have to repair the entire place. And we get frustrated because it is work. It's work to stop and repair the screw. It's or whatever. I don't know enough about bridges.
There's a cost associated with infrastructure.
Correct.
There's a cost associated.
There's a cost of taking my car and getting an oil change. I know this.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't want to spend the $100 for the fancy oil that they put in that they tell me makes it go longer miles and blah, blah. I don't want them to change the filter, blah, blah.
But that's way better than having to put a new motor in.
Correct.
And sometimes you've got to put in a trans filter and trans fluid, and that's 5 times the price of the engine oil.
Right.
But sometimes you have to shut the car down and get the repair done.
It's true.
Or else eventually it's just going to blow up.
Yeah.
But we're so concerned about other people's voices and what other people are going to think that we don't want to say, oh yeah, we're actually marriage counseling.
Right.
We don't want to say, no, I'm not okay. I can't do this right now.
Oh, I took a mental health day because I just needed rest today.
Yeah.
Like, I think for especially those of us who are really tugging for more in life, that we feel like it will cost us something to stop and to actually take some repair time.
Yeah.
But we got to recognize that we're going to burn out and we're going to, the pressure valve will explode.
And it's a balance. Because there are some people that might be listening like, oh yeah, I love mental health days.
Yeah.
No, you're just lazy. Go back to work. But like for some of us, like you're saying, that are highly driven and we've never thought that would be okay to do.
Right.
It's okay.
No, right.
Whitney is making me.
This is real.
Take a sabbatical that starts
in like a week.
In a week. And so that means that I'm not going to be at church for 3 weeks. I'm not going to be there for 3 Sundays. I've never done this.
I know.
I can't remember ever missing 2 weeks back to back.
No.
Even when my kids were born.
Right.
Out of 10 years being at Living Church, I may have missed 15 Sundays.
Yeah.
I miss 1 or 2 a year. And so the idea that I'm going to be gone.
And most of the time when you miss 1 or 2 a year, it's because you're somewhere else speaking and leading.
Oh yeah, I'm preaching somewhere else.
Right.
So that means I'm on stage every Sunday of my whole life for 10, like.
Yeah.
That is not a proper pressure. So I'm thankful for friends that would say, hey man, I think there's a lot of pressure that you've been under the last year and a half. I think you need to take a break.
Right.
And now I have this new pressure in my life. Then it's what am I supposed to do during sabbatical? But that's a whole other. That's a whole other conversation.
We're going to talk about when you come back from it. We'll do a whole podcast on rest.
There's pressure because people are like, hey, why is Pastor not preaching?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People's voices. Hello.
Why is Pastor not preaching? He needs to do a series.
Oh.
Get up there. Dance, monkey.
He's on a sabbatical. Is something wrong with him?
Are him and Pastor Rachel okay?
It's called a vacation. You take one, too. We just, in the church world, for some reason, call it a sabbatical, which Bailey has told me maybe that's not what I should call it. I don't know. But it's a break.
Taking
it's a
an
rest.
Extended vacation.
Some people take.
But I'm stressed out about my break.
Right.
I'm taking a break to rest, and the fact I'm taking a break is stressing me out.
Which is a pressure. That is an unhealthy pressure.
But that's because I do not have proper placement yet.
Because your relationship with God, and your job, they're not the same.
They're not the same.
And so you missing 3 Sundays does not mean anything to do with your relationship with Jesus.
God is disappointed with me.
Not at all.
And if there's somebody at Living,
I think he's proud of you.
Yeah, and if there's somebody at Living Church who is disappointed with me, they don't love me. They love what I do for them.
Oh,
They love what I give them.
That's a get 'em, right? I'm like, yep, okay,
no,
that's true.
I'm just saying,
no, bro, it's
if
true.
the heart is, this pastor needs to get up and preach a banger.
Yeah.
52 weeks of the year, you don't love me.
Well, because
you love what I give you.
It's because they don't understand the pressure.
They don't understand the pressure.
Because that's the other piece.
Yeah.
No, it's a whole nother podcast. But pressure is for people who carry pressure. You understand it. Like the people who.
No, you're right.
And the people who don't carry a lot of pressure, they're the ones who don't understand it.
The people who are business owners and high capacity tell me, you need to take a break, man.
Right. Why haven't
Pastor, you've preached 8 weeks in a row.
Right. What's going on?
What are you doing?
Right.
Because they understand what the load is.
But you know what I'm thankful for is that you are emotionally healthy enough that even though there's some things I've recalibrated, whenever I said, hey, bro, this time to take a break, you didn't say,
no, I'm fine.
Woman, I am fine.
I'm fine.
Leave me alone.
I'm mighty man. Have we already done one on transparency?
Yeah. Well, and every week we
need to do one. We are out of time. We need to do one, tell that story about how I had to dump the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do it later.
We'll do that. But
Teaser
practice. But
dude, so
it's good. Yeah.
So our hope and prayer is that we can be partners of yours on your tug team.
Yeah.
So that you guys aren't cracking under the pressure of life.
No, it's true.
That as this is a hard thing to feel like God has a big calling in your life. It's hard.
Yeah.
But you can do it as long as you navigate the pressure.
Right.
Put the things in the right places, get rid of the things you don't need, continually install leadership infrastructure and emotional health infrastructure. And you're going to do great things.
No, it's really true. It's good. And so we're excited for you and your break. But y'all, we're going to keep being here and a part. And so engage with us, comment, share, let us know how we can continue to help.
We're not taking a break. We're still every Tuesday, boom.
We're awesome. No, we're not. But it's going good. We hope that it's helping you, that it's adding value to your life. So keep sharing it.
The best way that you can help us is to share, comment, subscribe, tag some friends. Post it out on your social media. Hit that button and say, man, I just listened to this. It was so good.
Right.
Let's spread what God's doing here at the Tug of More.
Absolutely.
So more people can get on the tug team and grow.
That's right.
Love y'all.
Bye, y'all.